Canto 9. 1 year floods rose. 1 year they fought in the snows. 1 year hell fell, breaking the trees and walls. Down here in the marsh they trapped him in 1 year, and he stood in the water up to his neck to keep the hounds off him. And he floundered about in the marsh and came in after 3 days. That was Astore Manfredi of Fanza, who worked the ambush and set the dogs off to find him in the marsh down here under Mantua. And he fought in Fano in a street fight, and that was nearly the end of him. And the emperor came down and knighted us. And they had a wooden castle set up for fiesta. And 1 year Bassanio went out into the courtyard where the lists were and the palisades had been set for the tourneys, and he talked down the empty Helen. And there was an heir male to the Senor, and Madame Geneva died. And he, Sigismundo, was Capitan for the Venetians. Sigismundo. And he had sold off small castles and built the Rocca to his plan. And he fought like 10 devils in Monteluro and got nothing but the victory. And old Sforza beached us at Pesaro, March the 16th. That Messer Alessandro Sforza has become Lord of Pesaro through the angle of the illus Sergeant Master Federico dell'Urbino, who worked the wangle with Gallis, through the wiggling of Messer Francesco, who angled it so that Gallis should sell Pesaro to Alexina for Sembroni to Fedi, and he hadn't the right to sell. And this he did bestialmente, that is, Sforza did bestialmente, as he had promised him Sigismundo per Capitoli, to see that he, Malatesta, should have Pesaro. And this cut us off from our south half and finished our game thus in the beginning. And he, Sigismundo, spoke his mind to Francesco, and we drove them out of the marches. And the king of Ragona, Alfonso Leroy de Aragon, was the next nail in our coffin, and all you can say is anyway that he, Sigismundo, called a town council. And Valturio said, as well for a sheep as a lamb, and this changeover, haec traditio, as old Bladder said, rem iorem salvavit. Save the Florentine state, and that maybe was something. And Florence, our natural ally, as they said in the meeting, for whatever that was worth afterward, and he began building the Tempio, and Polixena, his second wife, died. And the Venetians sent down an ambassador and said, speak humanely, but tell him it's no time for raising his pay. And the Venetians sent down an ambassador with 3 pages of secret instructions to the effect, did he think the campaign was a joyride? And old Wattle slipped into Milan, but he couldn't stand Sige being so high with the Venetians, and he talked it over with Vedi. Okay. That's getting a lot. And Fedi said, Pesaro. And old Foscari wrote, Caro mio, if we split with Francesco, you can have it and we'll help you in every way possible. But Fedi offered it sooner. And Sigismundo cut up a few arches and stole that marble in classe, that is. Queses estalis Foscari Doge to the prefect of Ravenna Why, what? Which thunder damnation? Quesis estalis Filippo, commendateri of the Abbazia of Sant Apollinieri, classic Cardinal of Bologna, that he did one night, quaram nocte, Santo di Ildo Sigismund Malatesta, Lord of Arimnium, Marble, Polifri, Serpentine, whose men Sigismundos came with more than 100 two-wheeled ox carts and deported for the beautifying of the Tempio, what was Santa Maria in Trivio, where the same are now on the walls, 400 ducats to be paid back to the Abbazia by the said swindling cardinal or his heirs, wheels, plaustra, oxen under night shield, and on the 13th of August, Aloysius Portheo, the next abbot to Sigismundo, receipt for 200 ducats, corn salve for the damage done in that scourge. And there was the row about that German Burgundian female, and it was his messianic year, Poliorcetes, but he was being a bit too Polametes, and the Venetians wouldn't give him 6 months vacation. And he went down to the old brick heap of Pesaro and waited for Fedi. And Fedi finally said, I am coming to help Alessandro. And he said, this time Mr. Fedi has done it. He said, Broglio, I'm the goat. This time Mr. Fedi has done it. Malakalata. And he'd lost his job with the Venetians, and the stone didn't come in from Istria. And we sent men to the Silk War, and Wattle never paid up on the nail, though we signed on with Milan and Florence. And he set up the bombards in Mukden by Vada, where nobody else could have set them. And he took the woods out of the bombs and made them two scoops of metal, and the job's getting smaller and smaller until he signed on with Siena, and that time they grabbed his post bag, and what was it anyhow? Pitigliano, a man with a 10-acre lot, 2 lumps of tufa, and they'd taken his pasture land from him, and Sidge had got back their horses. And he had 2 big lumps of tufa with 600 pigs in the basements. And the poor devils were dying of cold. And this is what they found in the post bag. This just came in like 5 seconds ago. This is my reaction to this. Gladstone was still respected when John Ruskin produced King's Treasury, Swinburne, and Rossetti still abused. Fetid Buchanan lifted up his voice when that fawn's head of hers became a pastime for painters and adulterers. The Burne-Jones cartoons have preserved her eyes still at the Tate. They teach Cophetua to rhapsodize. Thin like brook water with a vacant gaze, the English Rubaiyat was still born in those days. The thin, clear gaze, the same, still darts out fawn-like from the half-ruined face, questing in passive, poor Jenny's case, bewildered that a world shows no surprise at her last moqueros adulterize. Woo! There died a myriad, and of the best among them, for an old bitch gone in the teeth for a botched civilization, charm, smiling at the good mouth, quick eyes gone under earth's lid for 2 gross of broken statues, for a few thousand battered books. Frankness as never before, disillusions as never told in the old days, hysterias, trenched confessions, laughter out of dead bellies, fortitude as never before, daring as never before, wastage as never before, young blood and high blood, fair cheeks and fine bodies. Died some pro patria non dulce non et decor, walked eye deep in hell, believing in old men's lies, then unbelieving came home to a lie, home to many deceits, home to old lies and new infamy, usury, age old and age thick, and liars in public places. Doria, be in me as the eternal moods of the bleak wind, and not as transient things are, gaiety of flowers. Have me in the strong loneliness of sunless cliffs and of gray waters. Let the gods speak softly of us in days hereafter. The shadowy flowers of Orcus remember thee. Nor gold-giving lords like those gone, hour in mirth most magnified, whoever lived in life most lordliest. Drear all this excellence, delights undurable. Waneth the watch, but the world holdeth. Tomb hideth trouble, the blade is laid low. Earthly glory ageth and seereth, no man at all going the earth's gate. But age fares against him, his face paleth. Grey-haired he groaneth, knows gone companions. Lordly men are to earth o'ergiven, nor may he then the flesh cover whose life ceaseth, nor eat the sweet, nor feel the sorry, nor stir hand, nor think in mid-heart. And though he strew the grave with gold, his born brothers, their buried bodies, be an unlikely treasure hoard. His born brothers, their buried bodies, be an unlikely treasure hoard. Doria, days little durable, and all arrogance of earth and riches, there come now no kings nor Caesars. Eager and ready, the climb lone flyer wets for the whale path, the heart irresistibly o'er tracts of ocean, seeing that anyhow my Lord deems to me this dead life, on lone and on land, I believe not that any earth wheel eternal standeth, save there be somewhat calamitous there, that era man's tide go turneth to twain, disease or oldness or sword hate beats out the breath from doom-gripped body, and for this every earl whatever, for those speaking after, laud of the living boasteth some last word that he will work ere he pass onward. Frame on the fair earth against foes his malice, daring to do, so that all men shall honor him after, and his laud beyond them remain mid the English, aye, forever, a lasting life's blast. Delight mid the daughtry, days little durable, and all arrogance of earthen riches. There come now no kings nor Caesars. Doria, thus if her color came against his gaze, tempered as if it were through a perfect glaze, he made no immediate application of this to relation of the state. To the individual, the month was more temperate because his beauty had been. The coral isle, the lion-colored sand, burst in upon the porcelain reverie, impetuous troubling of his imagery. Mildness amid the neo-Nietzschean clatter, his sense of graduations quite out of place amid resistance to current exasperations. Invitation near invitation to perceptivity gradually led him to the isolation which these presents place under a more tolerant, perhaps, examination. By constant elimination, the manifest universe yielded an armor against utter consternation. A Minoan undulation, seen we admit amid ambrosial circumstances, strengthened him against the discouraging doctrine of chances. And his desire for survival, faint in the most strenuous moods, became an Olympian apithian in the presence of selected perceptions. A pale gold in the aforesaid pattern. The unexpected palms destroying certainly the artist's urge, left him delighted with the imaginary audition of the phantasmal sea surge, incapable of the least utterance or composition, emendation, conservation of the better tradition, refinement of medium, elimination of superfluities, august attraction or concentration. Wow, Eminem needs to keep out. Nothing in brief but maudlin confession, irresponse to human aggression amid the precipitation downflowed of insubstantial manna, lifting the faint susurrus of his subjective hosanna. What the fuck? Ultimate affronts to human redundancies. Non-esteem of self-styled his betters, leading as he well knew to his final exclusion from the world of letters. For scattered Moluccas, not knowing day to day the first day's end and the next noon, the placid water unbroken by the simoon, thick foliage placid beneath warm suns, ton forest shores, washed in the cobalt of oblivions, or through dawn mist the grand rows of the juridical flamingos. A consciousness disjunct, being but this overblotted series of intermittences, coracle of pacific voyages, the unforecasted beach. Then on an oar read this: I was, and I no more exist, here drifted and heathenist. Medallion, Luinian porcelain, the grand piano utters a profane protest with her clear soprano. The sleek head emerges from the gold-yellow frock as Anadyomene in the opening pages of Reinach. Honey red closing the face oval, a basketwork of braids which seem as if they were spun in King Minos' hall from metal or intractable amber. The face oval beneath the glaze, bright in its swad bounding line as beneath half-watt rays the eyes turn topaz. Shades of Calnicus, cone ghosts of Philetus, it is in your grove I would walk, I who come first from the clear font, bringing the Grecian orgies into Italy and the dance into Italy. Who hath taught you so subtle a measure? In what hall have you heard it? What foot beat out your time bar? What water has mellowed your whistles? Outweariers of Apollo will, as we know, continue their Martian generalities. We have kept our erasers in order. A newfangled chariot follows the flower-hung horses. A young muse with young loves clustered about her ascends with me into the ether, and there is no high road to the muses. Analysts will continue to record Roman reputations. Celebrities from the Transcaucasus will belaud Roman celebrities and expound the distensions of empire. But for something to read in normal circumstances, for a few pages brought down from the forked hill unsullied, I ask a wreath which will not crush my head, and there is no hurry about it. I shall have, doubtless, a boom after my funeral, seeing that long-standing increases all things regardless of quality. And who would have known those towers pulled down by a dull wood horse, or of Achilles withstanding waters by Simois, or of Hector spattering wheel rims, or of Polydemantus by Scamander, or Helenus and Diphobos? Their dooryards would scarcely know them, or Paris, small Taco Alien and Otrode, twice taken by Oetian gods, if Homer had not stated your case. And I also among the later nephews of the city shall have my dog's day, with no stone upon my compensable sepulture. My vote coming from the temple of Phoebus in Lycia at Patara, and in the meantime my songs will travel. What the fuck? There is no... Are you serious? This just came and I burst out crying. This is insane. Salvationists, come my songs, let us speak of perfection. We shall get ourselves rather disliked. There is none like thee among the dancers, none with swift feet. April. Nephirim membra disjecta. 3 spirits came to me and drew me apart to where the olive boughs lay stripped upon the ground, pale carnage beneath bright mist. April. Nephirim membra disjecta. 3 spirits came to me and drew me apart to where the olive boughs lay stripped upon the ground, pale carnage beneath bright mist. April. Nephirim membra disjecta. O helpless few in my country, O remnant enslaved, artists broken against her, astray, lost in the villages, mistrusted, spoken against, lovers of beauty starved, thwarted with systems, helpless against the control. You who cannot wear yourselves out by persisting to successes, you who can only speak, who cannot steel yourselves into reiteration. The rest, move among the lovers of perfection alone. Seek ever to stand in the hard Sophoclean light and take your wounds from it gladly. Ezra Pound. Amazing. Literally, this is some of the best poetry I've ever seen. What? Whence have we grief, discord, and deepest sadness? Him whom it pleased for our great bitterness to come to earth to draw us from misventure, who drank of death for our salvocation, him do we pray as to a Lord most righteous and humble, eke that the young English king he pleased to pardon as true pardon is, and bid go in with honored companions, there where there is no grief nor shall be sadness. From the Provencal of Bertrands de Morn, situit l'idole el plor el marimen. Situit l'idole el plor el marimen. Provencal of Bertrands de Born. From the Provencal of Bertrands de Born. Blandula, ternella, vagula. What hast thou, O my soul, with paradise? Will we not rather, when our freedom's won, get us to some clear place wherein the sun lets drift in on us through the olive leaves a liquid glory? If at Sirmio, my soul, I meet thee when this life's outrun, will we not find some headland consecrated by airy apostles of terrene delight? Will not our cult be founded on the waves, clear, sapphire, cobalt, cyanide? On Trion azures, the impalpable mirrors unstill of the eternal change. Soul, if she meet us there, will any rumor of havens more high and courts desirable lure us beyond the cloudy peak of Riva? Era, Tora, thank you, whatever comes. And then she turned, and as the ray of sun on hanging flowers fades when the wind had lifted them aside, went swiftly from me, nay, whatever comes. 1 hour was sunlit, and the most high gods may not make boast of any better thing than to have watched that hour as it passed. The house of splendor, 'tis Evanos, a house now made with hands. But out somewhere beyond the worldly ways, her gold is spread above, around, and woven strange ways, and walls are fashioned out of it. And I have seen my lady in the sun, her hair was spread about a sheaf of wings, and red the sunlight was behind it all. And I have seen her there within her house, with 6 great sapphires hung along the wall. Low, panel-shaped, a level with her knees, and all her robe was woven of pale gold. There are many rooms, and all of gold, of woven walls, deep patterned, of email, of beaten work, and through the claret stones, set to some weaving, comes the aureate light. Here my come perforce my love of her, behold, mine adoration. Make it me clear, and there are powers in this, which played on by the virtues of her soul, break down the 4 square walls of standing time. The tomb at Akkar, I am thy soul, Nicoctis. I have watched these 5 millennia, and thy dead eyes moved not, nor ever answered my desire. And thy light limbs were through I leapt aflame. Burn not with me, nor any saffron thing. See, the light grass sprang up to pillow thee, and kiss thee with a myriad grassy tongues, but not thou without me. I have read out the gold upon the wall, and wearied out my thought upon the signs, and there is no thing in all this place. I have been kind. See, I have left the jars sealed, lest thou shouldst wake and whimper for thy wine, and all thy robes I have kept smooth on thee. O thou unmindful, how should I forget even the river many days ago? The river thou wast over young, and 3 souls came upon thee, and I came, and I flowed in upon thee, beat them off. I have been intimate with thee, known thy ways. Have I not touched thy palms and fingertips, flowed in and through thee and about thy heels? How came I in? Was I not thee and thee? And no sun comes to rest me in this place, and I am torn against the jagged dark. And no light beats upon me, and you say no word day after day. Oh, and I could get me out, despite the marks and all their crafty work upon the door, out through the glass green fields, yet it is quiet here, I do not go. No, there is nothing in the whole and all, nothing that's quite your own, yet this is you. Portrait d'une femme. Your mind, and you are our Saragossa steed. London has swept about you this score years, and bright ships left you this or that in fee. Ideas, old gossip, oddments of all things. Strange spars of knowledge and dimmed wares of price. Great minds have sought you, lacking someone else. You have been second always. Tragical? No. You preferred it to the usual thing. One dull man, dulling and uxorious, one average mind with one thought less each year. Oh, you are patient. I have seen you sit. Hours where something might have floated up, and now you pay one. Yes, you richly pay. You are a person of some interest. One comes to you and takes strange gain away. Trophies fished up, some curious suggestion, facts that leads nowhere, and a tale or two pregnant with mandrakes or with something else that might prove useful and yet never proves. That never fits a corner or shows use or finds its hour upon the loom of days, that tarnished, gaudy, wonderful old work, idols and ambergris and rare inlays. These are your riches, your great store, and yet for all this sea hoard of deciduous things, strange woods half sodden and new brighter stuff. In the slow float of different light and deep, No, there is nothing in the whole and all, nothing that's quite your own, yet this is you. Dark-eyed, O woman of my dreams, ivory sandaled, there is none like thee among the dancers, none with swift feet. I have not found thee in the tents, in the broken darkness. I have not found thee at the wellhead among the women with pitchers. Thine arms are as young as a young sapling under the bark, thy face as a river with lights. White as an almond are thy shoulders, as new almonds stripped from the husk. They guard thee not with eunuchs, not with bars of copper. Gilt turquoise and silver are in the place of thy rest. A brown robe with threads of gold woven in patterns hast thou gathered about thee, O Nathatikani, tree at the river. As a relay among the sedge are thy hands upon me, thy fingers a frosted stream. Thy maidens are white like pebbles, their music about thee. There's none like thee among the dancers, none with swift feet. April, Nifaran Membra disjecta. Three spirits came to me and drew me apart to where the olive boughs lay stripped upon the ground, pale carnage beneath bright mist.